was very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long period of time, but I don't get a proper platform. So later for my college, I get to know about XLR and I enrolled in XLR course. It was really good experience. Our course has been taken by Mayur sir, and he was very good teacher. He not only focusing on theory, but he's doing how real digital marketing works, and it was in total very good experience. I get so much of knowledge here. They're not only focusing on study, they're also conducting different exam to test our knowledge, and as we are giving the exam, so to appreciate our work, they give certificates for the toppers, and along with the certificate they give hampers. Thank you, XLR.
Recently, I was searching for digital marketing courses online in Google, and I came across XLR, and I attended a digital marketing course which was for 15 days. My mentor Mayur helped me for attending these classes. So he is a very informative and helpful guy. In the course end, there is a exam which I topped, so I came to the XLR office in Bengaluru. This digital marketing course has helped my career and my skills to develop, and the certificate has helped my company to join. Thank you, XLR.
I came to know about this course from my college. Actually, for learning platform, this is very nice, and I learned from here ChatGPT and AI from online. Because he's teaching for me for AI generative and ChatGPT. We are using this technology in more. And after finishing the courses, I came from for collecting the certificate. I see in the classrooms and
training program which was mobile app development using Flutter, which was given to us by XLR Solutions. I came across this program through my college faculty, who told us about this program, that it is a very good course and you should enroll in this course. So I enrolled in this course, and initially I felt really good about this course because they started everything from a very basic point of view, that even if someone who doesn't know anything about Flutter or anything about mobile app development can also learn the same way the ones who know about it are learning. So no student was left behind and everyone was given equal attention. All the doubts throughout the course were cleared. And if we had any questions also, we were like, the trainer was also ready to stay for a longer time than it was scheduled, even for the sake of doubts. So that shows how important the students are to them. So it was a really good experience with XLR's program, and by the end of the training program, I was able to develop my own application. And through the development also, there was another point. Yeah, so our sir taught us about how we can connect our own mobile phone to our laptop and write code in our laptop, and you can see the output in your phone. It's just really creative and interesting for me. I felt really good about that. So in the end, I developed my own mobile application. I showed it to my
Good evening, everyone. So, Bhanupriya ma'am, you can start the session.
Okay, Chandana, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
All right, so good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Is my audio clear?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So today, as part of our second day of the workshop, we are going to uh, look at our most important tool for artificial intelligence, which is Python programming. So today I will show you some basics of Python programming to start off with, and then we will also look at how to implement our artificial neural network systems in the Python at the end of this workshop. So I have one hand raised. Yeah, Manikanta, what is it? You can put it in the chat window. If you have any questions or queries, please put it in the chat window. So let's start with the introduction of Python. So Python is a universal programming language, right? So the official website of Python is python.org. Let me share my screen. Python.org is the official website of Python programming language. It is one of the universal languages. So when I say universal languages, what is the meaning of universal language? You can type in your answers in chat window. If you know anything about Python, you can put your answers in the chat window. No one? Not even one person is answering. Can I get at least one answer? What is Python? So when I say universal language, right? When I say universal language, it is a widespread or a popular language, which is very uh, easy programming language. Yes, it is a programming language. It is easy learning language. Thanks for your answers. Yeah. Yes. It's a platform independent. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Praveen, Harini, Pavni. Yes. Good. So Python is a high-level interpreted programming language. Yes, it has gained wide popularity. It is very famous across all the industries because of its simplicity, versatility, and its readable language. That means it's almost like English language. If you look at even person who do not know any programming language, if they have read the Python programming, they will be able to understand what it is saying. So that's easy. So that Python programming is easy language, but it is a steep curve of learning. That means it's an ocean. There are a lot of things to learn in Python. So, where it has started all from, right? So history of Python. Python was created by a person called as Guido von Rossum, and this person has named it as Python, based out of his favorite movie show called as Python Circus. So based out of this movie show, he has named this language as Python. It's not the snake Python it is referred to. This is named as Python based on a movie show. Okay, this Von Rossum was working on this language at that point of time. He used to watch this um, show, so he has named his programming language as Python. Right, so that's the history behind the name of the Python, and the person who has developed this Guido von Rossum. So initially this was released in 1990s or 1994, though it was was in the development stage in still from 1980s only. At the time of when we have no Java and all released, Python was in the working, but it was released later. It has many versions. Python 2 was the version, Python 3 was the other version. Right now, whatever the version that we are going to use is Python 3, because Python 2 is now discontinued. We do not have Python 2 version using. So Python 3 from 2008, it is released. Python 2 was there till last year also. We had the Python 2 versions also releasing, and the Python was supporting both the versions. But now you can see we have only Python 3. If you go back to downloads also, earlier we used to have Python 2 also here, download windows for Python, right? So this official website helps you to download your Python as well. But today I'm not going to show you how to download the Python and all, because we are going to use Python in an online platform called as Google platform, which is also called as Collaboratory, Google Collaboratory. So this is a Google Collaboratory wherein we are going to run our Python code in the Google Collaboratory. So you need not install it, but if you want to run it in your own machine, okay, if you want to run it in your own machine, then you have to install the Python. You just need to go to downloads and install the Python in your local machine, and you can start using it. But I'm not going to do that, because most of the times you are going to work on servers, you're going to work on cloud platforms, right? So we don't need to work on our machines anymore. So I'm going to work on Google Colab. So that's about Python history and what are the different versions of the Python that we have. And Python is also open source language. What is the meaning of open source language? It is developed uh, under an open source, that is license free. That means we do not have to pay any license fee for using or for developing the code in Python. And you can also use it for individual learning purposes or commercial purposes without any license cost involved. Okay, so there is a community who maintains this Python development process, and it is called as Python Software Foundation. Anything in the libraries maintenance or the version maintenance, all this happens through this Python Software Foundation. In short, it is called as PSF, right? So, and there is another foundation called as PEP. Okay, PEP is nothing but it's a Python enhancement proposals, that you have any enhancements that you want to do. This particular body, PEP, it's a guideline kind of thing. There's design documents providing the information about how the code has to be written. If a new feature is released, so you have to do the documentation of this new feature on how to use this, what are its advantages, what are the disadvantages. All these things will be maintained by PEP. So this is a short introduction to you about Python. So there are a lot of applications of Python. As I told you, it's a very popular and versatile programming language. That means you can use it for different kind of applications. You have Python frameworks for our data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence. There are so many libraries that are available for us. So we are going to work with libraries in Python like Pandas, NumPy, Matplot library, SkyPy, right? So sklearn library. So if you want to work on any of the artificial intelligence or neural networks using Python, so we will need different Python libraries like NumPy. We would require Pandas. We would require Matplot library. The scikit-learn, especially used for machine learning. Sklearn, or it is also called as scikit-learn. Okay. Uh, and most advanced for, especially for the deep learning, we will use TensorFlow. There is Keras, which is again based on TensorFlow. Then there is PyTorch. Okay. So these are the ones that we use for deep learning. This is used for machine learning. And in general, these are used for data handling, data manipulation, visualizations. Matplot library is used for visualization. There are many other libraries. I'm just giving you some examples, which are the Python libraries that we are going to use for different applications. So for data science and machine learning and deep learning, so we are going to use this for natural language processing. Natural language processing is also part of our artificial intelligence, right? So there is something called as natural language processing. This is another wing of our AI. So here also we will use libraries like NLTK, Spacey, TextBlob. So Python is an ocean of libraries. We have many, many, many libraries. For each and every kind of task, we have a different library. So these are all the libraries related to our artificial intelligence, deep neural networks, ML and deep learning, right? You have different frameworks for building the web applications like Django, Flask, Bottle, Pyramid. All these are useful in building the web application, RESTful services, backend services, or microservices. Then we have automation and scripting libraries also. What are automation and scripting libraries? Like tools like Selenium, web scraping. Beautiful Soup is one of the uh, library widely used for web scraping. That means if you want to extract the information from web, let it be, let's say you want to extract the information from the Amazon website. You want to see what are the reviews for a particular product. You can extract them using Beautiful Soup. So there are many, many libraries for software development and testing, scientific computing, in the field of education, learning, right? Game developments. All these have different libraries. So that means we can utilize Python libraries for different purposes. Clear? All right. So that's about our Python libraries. So it can also be used in several other situations, but let's just focus on how Python is used for our AI area, that is deep learning, machine learning. Okay. So what is the importance of Python in artificial intelligence? What is the importance of Python in artificial intelligence and deep neural networks, right? And NLP. So whatever we are focusing on right now is Python and its importance in the AI. So the first thing, it is very, very important, or it holds a significant place in the field of artificial intelligence and deep learning. Why it is so significant? The first step, the first point is because of its simplicity. So we are going to build the complex systems using the simple programming language, right? When I say simplicity, it's very clean. Python's clean and straightforward syntax. So if you have clean and straightforward syntax, it will allow the AI developers to focus more on solving the AI problems rather than dealing with the problems with the language itself, right? So if you have a simple program that is allowing you to develop the complex systems, you can focus more on solving the complex problems rather than focusing on your programming language, right? So that's the reason Python is very important or having a lot of significance in AI. Then accessibility. Second point is accessibility. So what is accessibility? The ease of learning. That means it is very easy to learn as well, right? So it is very much accessible to the developers or people who may not have accessing programming background can also be easily learning the Python. And as we were discussing, extensive libraries for each and every specific task. You need not write this code from the scratch. We already have extensive libraries or modules, or we can call them as frameworks also, right? That means these are predefined frameworks that we can utilize to solve our problems in AI, right? So it is having a rich set of libraries that we were discussing, like NumPy, Pandas, Scikit-learn, all these are libraries, and we have specialized AI libraries also. What are the specialized AI libraries that we have just discussed? Now, we have discussed about specialized AI libraries like TensorFlow, like Keras, PyTorch. You have many other, right? So you have extensive libraries specifically designed for AI also are there. Right? And next point, the fourth point is integration and deployment. This is very important step, integration and deployment. Why Python is so important for AI field is because of its deployment and integration. That means integration is nothing but you're integrating your systems, the AI systems with other applications, right? It makes it easier to integrate AI models to the web applications. Let's say you have a small like face recognition system. So as soon as your customer opens your website, so instead of asking for the login with email ID, and you can have a face recognition system installed so that it can identify the face of the customer and directly log in with their users. So banks can utilize this. So now the face recognition system is an AI system that has to be integrated with the website of the bank, right? So web application, we call that as a web application. So integration of AI systems with the web applications will be easier with the Python, okay? Because we have many frameworks like the Python's compatibility with the frameworks like Django, Flask. So these are the web application frameworks. So because of this frameworks that we have, it makes developer life easier to integrate AI models to the web applications, right? So there are other tools also like open neural network exchanges, or right, there are certain tools like open neural network exchangers. This facilitate deployment of AI models into the production directly. So you build the models, but they have to be taken to the production, right? So that is called as a deployment of AI models into the production environments. Production is what? Production is live. So you're building the model and making it live to all the users. Then that is called as production environment. So because of these reasons, AI has a lot of importance in the area of, sorry, Python is having a lot of importance in the area of AI, right? So now let's just start with understanding the concepts of the Python. So Python, as I told you, you can install that in your local machine, but instead of installing it in your local machine, I'm going to use a cloud-based Python IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, specially designed by Google for the purposes of AI and machine learning and deep learning. So here, as soon as you go to this particular website, I just copy this in the chat window also. You can open it along with me. So this is a website. It's colab.research.google.com. You just simply need your Gmail ID to log into this Colab. Once you log in, you will have an option something like this, wherein it will ask you to upload the notebooks or create a new. We just need to click on plus new notebook here. That means we are going to create a new Python notebook file. So the Python file here is represented as a notebook file. So you can see as soon as you click on plus new notebook file, it will open up a page something like this, and you will have the name of the notebook. It is untitled 7.ipynb. You can rename this. Just click on this notebook. It will ask you to rename. So just take out the old name and put Python introduction. So this is a Python introduction class. So I'm just writing Python introduction.ipynb. So where this is going to get stored, this is stored in my Gmail, G Cloud itself, in the drive, in the Gmail attached to this particular Colab. All these files will be saved in the cloud. If you want to download, you can download it after completing. There is an option to save this, or you can option to download .ipynb. IPYNB is the notebook format. .py is the regular Python file format. You can download it in any format, but if you want to run it on the Colab, you can directly run it on the Colab without have to downloading it also. The advantages here is you can share it to many other people just by clicking on it. You can share this file. If you want to share this file with any other people, you can just add the people or groups or whoever it is and just share it with them, right? So this is how your Google Colab notebook will look like. So the area that you're seeing here, the shaded area, the gray color area, is called as cell. So we are going to write our code in the form of the cells over here. So each cell is like an individual execution cell. So I can write any number of lines of code here and click on this button, the arrow button that you see. That means you are going to execute that particular block of code and see the output right down the cell. So we all know that the first function that we will learn in any programming language is print hello world. So print function in the Python is going to print whatever you give inside the print function. It is going to print the same content in the output. So you can see here, it is running now. You can just click on Control Enter to execute, or you can click on the arrow button also. It is connecting to the resources. After connecting to the resources, you can see the output given here, just right below the cell. So we can start using our Google Colab notebook here as our development area. You can start writing your scripts here. So you can create another cell. If you just click on plus code, it will create another cell. You can see down. Again, plus code, another cell. Or you can use escape plus A. That is the escape plus A or escape plus B. Escape plus A will create the cell above the current cell. Escape plus B will create the cell below the current cell. So you can use it either way that you want. So the first thing that we are going to look at is the data types in Python. So if you want to write anything, you can add text cells. Text cells will not be your coding cells. So we want to discuss about data types in Python. So I can mark it as a text cell. So it will not be executed by Python, right? It will not be executed by Python if you say text cell. This is a code cell, this is a text cell. You see the difference? This is having a run option, does not have run option. So data types in Python. In Python, data types are integer, float, and you have Boolean data types, you have complex data types, and we have sequential data types also. So if you want to write any comment in the programming language, you will use # symbol. So the first data type that you are going to see is integer data type. So integer data type is a very simple numerical data type, right? Which can hold values, integer values, right? Including 0. Then you have float data type, which will be helpful to create the decimal values. So whole numbers, decimal numbers, okay. Then we have Boolean data type for true or false. Then we have complex data types for handling real number and imaginary number, right? So this is another data type. Then you have sequential data types. Under sequential data types, we have again multiple of them. Under sequential data types, we have strings, we have lists, we have tuples, So we have dictionaries, we have sets, then we also have two-dimensional or multi-dimensional data. So what are they? We have arrays, we have data frames, okay. So these are the different types of data that we have. So what is an integer data? So integer is simply, if I have to create an integer, let's say I'm going to create an integer here. Okay. So sorry, my bad. I will take another cell. A is equal to 10. So I have just written A as a variable, and equal to is the assignment operator in Python. If you want to assign a variable with some number or some value, you will use equal to. So A is equal to 10. So now, if I run this cell, Python will create a variable called as A, and it is storing a number called as 10 in the A. If I say print A, you can see it will print 10 because inside the A we have 10. Now, what is the data type of this A? What kind of data it is carrying in A? If you want to see this, you can simply print type of A. So, type of A, and you're printing that. So, you can say it says A is 10, but type of A is belonging to a class called as integer. So classes and objects, with Python is an object-oriented programming language. So Python, here the variable A belongs to a class called as int. The data type here is called, I'm sorry, the data type here is called as class. Okay, it belongs to a class called as integer. So it's a whole number, no? So that's the reason it is integer. So integers are whole numbers including 0. The negative values can also be there. Negative whole values or positive whole values or the 0. It will be taken as integer. The same thing if I write it as b is equal to 10.5. Okay. If I say print b, so then print type of b. So it will tell you b is 10.5, but it belongs to a class called as float. Float means decimal values. Okay. Then we have Boolean data type. Boolean data type will only have two values, either true or false. So if I say C is equal to true, so Python is a case sensitive language. When you write true, you have to use capital T. If I use small t, you can see it is showing some error. True is not defined. So you have to use capital T only when you use true. Then only it will identify it as a Boolean data type. So print C, and you also print type of C. So it is class bool, right? Bool stands for Boolean data type, either true or false. Even if you take false also, it's a Boolean data type. True or false is Boolean. Like this, you have complex, you have other data types like int, float, bool are very important. Like imaginary values, we will not use much of them. So complex data you can ignore. Then we have sequence data types. Sequence data types can hold multiple values. Like here, if you see ABC, we have assigned only with one value, right? But sequence data types can hold multiple values. In that, first one is we are going to look at is list. Okay, list is the first sequence data type that we are going to look at. Or let's look at strings. Okay, let's look at strings first. In the sequential data type, we have strings. So let's say I have a string called as S, and I write. So strings in Python are always defined using this double quotes. Okay, the ones that you're seeing, double quotes. I love Python. Or you can also create strings using single quotes like this. Right? The same thing I can write it as I love Python, or you can write something, some values. The same thing you can create it, another string can be created using triple quotes. Triple quotes is two double quotes, I mean one single quote. How we have here, like this, if you repeat 3 times and put this and again put three. So this is called as a string. Anything inside the single quote or double quote or triple quote will be strings. So if you want to see, I will just print type of S1. It says class string. So type of S1 is string, type of S will also be string, right? Type of S2 will also be string. So I'm just changing the numbers. You can see all the outputs are same. That means S, S1 and S2, all of them are strings. So strings is a sequential data because it's a collection of characters. So it's a collection of individual letters here. I, love, Python. So each individual word, I is one individual word. We call it as character. L is also a character. Space is also character here. Okay. So it's a collection of individual characters. String is collection of individual characters enclosed inside a double quote or a single quote or a triple quote. Clear, friends? You can just type in yes, no, maybe. All right. So when in the sequence data types, you can actually access the individual items, the individual characters as well. So using a technique called as indexing. Indexing in Python starts with 0. That means the first character will have a number given as a reference, okay, as 0. That means if I say in the S, what is the first character if I want to retrieve? I can refer to the index of 0. So indexing in Python is just nothing but like how you have indexing in the books, what is written in the first page, what is written in the second page. All these things will be displayed in the first two pages. We call them as the index, right? Similarly, here in the Python indexing, we are going to look at whenever we have sequential or data types which can hold multiple values, this indexing will be helpful for us to retrieve the values from a specific index. Okay, so it is a reference to the particular value. Here we have I love Python. What is the index of P? So let's just remove all the spaces. So I will be having the index as 0. L will be having the index as 1. O will be having the index as 2. Like this, you will have the indexing, right? So indexing in Python starts with 0. I'll just give you some reference pictures. In other programming languages, indexing might start from 0 or something like that. In Python, the indexing starts with 0. So just look at this one. If you have a string called as Python, P will have the index as 0, Y will have the index as 1, T will have the index as 2, H will have the index as 3, O will have the index as 4, N will have the index as 5. That is called as indexing in Python. Okay, let me just close this. Python. Can you see this? Right? So indexing in Python will start with 0. So the one that I have taken, the string that I have taken is I love Python, right? So therein, you will have the indexing starting with 0 only there also. So if it is just Python like this, so S is equal to, you have defined Python. So in the back end, this will be stored as, in the memory, this will be stored as block of characters P, Y, T, H, O, and N. And the name of this one will be named as S, because S is the name. This is a memory location in in our system or in the cloud system, and it will be referred, this memory system will be referred as S. Okay. So the indexing of this memory will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I want to access any of the item from this, I can simply say S, open the square brackets beside the S and put the index number. So if I say S of 0, it will point towards P. If I say S of 1, it will point towards Y. If I say S of 2, it will point towards 2. Like this, S of 3, it will point towards H. S of 4, it will point towards 4. Sorry, O. S of 5, it will point towards N. So this is called as indexing. This is applicable for all your sequential data. So this is called as indexing. In Python, the indexing starts from 0, and Python is also having negative indexing, which starts from the backwards. So negative indexing, the last component or the last element is given -1 as the index, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. Either you can access the elements using positive indexing, or you can access the elements using negative indexing. Same way, if I say S of -1, it will always go to the last value in the string. If I say S of 0, it is always the first value. Like that, you can use both the indexing, positive and negative indexing in Python. Sorry. So let's go back to our Google Colab file. So I have created a string called as Python, right? So let's just take Python instead of file of Python, right? So if I say type of S, it's Python, right? So if you want to do the indexing part, so you can see indexing S of 0 is going to give you the first letter in Python, the string. What is the string? Python. S of 0 is the first character. No, what is the first character? P, right? So it is giving you P as an output. Like this, if I take 1, it will give you, so 1 means the second character, Y. 2, like this. But if I put -1, -1 is the negative indexing starting from backwards. So the last item is always indexed as -1. So N will be given to you, right? So this is how you can use the indexing. And this is applicable for all your sequential data types, which can hold multiple values. Okay. Now, let's look at another data type, which is called as list tuples. Okay. We will not discuss about all of them. I'll just give you idea about list and tuples. So if you want to discuss everything in detail, this workshop will not be sufficient. So I am just going to take the important ones, because list will be very much useful. Tuples will be very much useful for us in the building of neural networks or defining the own functions. These things are very important. The basic indexing part, all these are very important. So we are going through them. So let's see what is list. So I am creating a list called as L1. Okay. L1 is a list. You can create a list using the square brackets like this. So list is collection of multiple values together again, and each value separated by a comma. So you want to store values like 10 comma 12 comma 14 comma 16 comma 18 comma 20. So you want to store multiple values, right? So maybe these are the scores of some of the students, right? Five scores of the math students. So you're storing them at a time in a list called as L1. So it is going to create, again in the backend, it is going to create a memory space with how many blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks, and assign each value into each block. 10 will be assigned, 12 will be assigned into the block of memory, and it will be named as L1. So if you want to access the first item from this memory block, again you can use the same function. L1, open the square bracket and give the index number, whether it is 0, 1, 2, 3. If you want to access the first value in your list, you can put 0 as the index. If you want to access the last item in the list, you have to put -1 in the index. So let's just print type of L1. So you can see it will going to give you class list. So L1 is belonging to a class called as list. If you want to see how many elements are there inside the list, you can simply put a function called as length, len, and give the list value, that is L1. So length function is going to count how many values are there in the given list and give you the output. Not just for list, for any sequential data type, length will work. So you can see length of this list is 6. That means there are 6 elements in this list. Okay. So the same way you can use the indexing also here. If I say L1 of 0, it will give me the first item of the list, which is 10. Right? If I say 1, right, list of 1 will be 12, no? So you can see it is giving you 12 as a output. Similarly, if I say list of -1, so it should give you the last value. Always open the square brackets beside the sequence data type to put the indexing. So it is last value is 20, right? So that is how you can create a list, and you can add more elements into the list. You can remove the elements from the list. That means you can make changes to the list, that is allowed. If you want to add any element, you will use a function called as append, L1 dot append, that is L1 is your list. For this list, you want to append one more number. What is that number you want to add? I want to add 22 because after 20, 22 will come up, no? So I will add 22. Now 22 is added to the list, okay? Now if you check the length of the list, or if you just print the L1, so you can see it will have 22 also added at the end. If you say length of L1, it will have 6 values in it. So I can do the modifications to the list after it is created also. You can add the list, you can change the length of how many elements are there. All these things are possible. But there is another data type very much similar to the list called as tuple. Okay. Tuple is also very much similar to the list, but it is created using normal braces or without any braces also. You can give multiple elements separated by comma. But what is the only difference between tuple and list is tuples are not changeable. That means they're called as immutable. Tuples are immutable. That means you cannot make any changes once they are created. But lists are mutable. You can read, you can write, you can change, you can do anything to the list, but tuples are only read mode kind of thing. You cannot write anything into them. Okay, that's the only difference between list and the tuples. Clear? So let's say 1, 2, 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4 is there. I create the tuple now. So print T is there. So you can see 1, 2, 3 is printed. What is the type? Print type and say T over here. So it will give you what is the type of the T also. So it belongs to class called as tuples. Tuples cannot be changed once we are created. You can add elements to the list like this list.append. We are adding elements to the list after they are created also, but in tuple we cannot add them. So you can see if I want to change anything to the tuple, let's say tuple.t.append. If I try to add same 5 into it, another value, it will throw an error saying that tuple object has no attribute append. That means you cannot change anything into the tuples. Tuples are not changeables. They are called as immutable data types. Tuples are immutable data types, but lists are mutable data types. Other than that, there is no difference in the list and tuples. Lists are mutable data types. Tuples are immutable data types. Okay. One more thing that you have to remember, you can apply the same kind of indexing here also for tuples as well. So for how do you apply the indexing in the list? In the same way, you can apply indexing to the tuples as well. T of 0 will give you the first element of the tuple, which is 1. See, T of minus 1, last element. Minus 1 index refers to the last element, 4, like this. Okay. So this is about your lists and tuples. One more point you have to remember is tuples or lists can handle multiple values, and they can handle multiple values of different data types. It need not be of all the integer of all the float data types. You can store one integer, one float, one Boolean data type, one string data type. You can have a list inside a list. It's not that it should be homogeneous data type. A list can handle the values of multiple data types. Same with the tuple as well. There is no restriction on the data types that you have to have. Each block of or each element of your list can be of different data type as well. Making sense? You can just put yes, no, maybe if you have understood about your list and tuples. Just you can put a thumbs up or so. Okay, understood. Very good. Thank you. All right. So these are the basic data types in a Python. Let's look at basic operations that we can do. There are something called as arithmetic operators, comparison operators, logical operators. So let's look at the operators. So first, initially, we are going to look at arithmetic operators. Very simple. There's no much complexity except for few of them. Everything else you will be more familiar with. Arithmetic operators are mathematical operators like plus, minus, right? Plus, minus. Multiplication is a star symbol. Division is a slash, forward slash. Then you have double or floor division. You have remainder division. So these are the things that you need to look at. These are the only one is called as quotient division, the other one is called as remainder division. So how would they work? I will explain you. So let's say you have A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 5. Okay. So if you do all the arithmetic other operators, A plus B will give you the addition, right? So I'll just write just addition of the numbers, print A plus B. So plus is called as addition operator. Minus is called as subtraction operator or difference operator. Then you have multiplication operator, A into B. Then you have division operator, print A divided by B. So if you look at the answers, it will be very much understandable. So A plus B means 10 plus 5, 15. A minus B is 10 minus 5, 5. A into B is 10 into 5, 50. Print A divided by B is 2. And if you see, this is giving you the output as a decimal value. The normal division, if you put a slash symbol, it is giving you the output as a decimal value. let's say 103 is the B value. A value is 103. If you divide it by 5, exactly it will be 20.6 or something like that, because it's a decimal value. So it is giving you exact decimal value also, right? And this is division, the normal division. But instead of this, I put print A double slash B. So what will be the output? The output will be only the integer value. It will ignore the decimal value and it will only give you the integer value as the output. You can see your normal division has given 20.6 as the output, but your double division, that is double slash division, is called as quotient division. That means it will only give you the quotient. It will not go with the decimal divisions. It will stop where it cannot divide, or it will round off your value to the lowest integer. So this is called as floor division also. Okay. Some people call this as floor division. Why it is called as floor division? Because it will give you the nearest integer on the lower side of your decimal. Actual value is 20.6, but it is going to give you the floor division value. 20.6 is rounded off to the lowest integer, no? So 20. That's the reason it is called as floor division. Then we have remainder division. The percentile symbol is used for remainder. So after dividing your data without applying the decimals, it is going to give you the remainder. So if you divide 103 by 5, the remainder is 520s are 100, 3 will be remain. So output will be 3. Can you see? So these are the two things which you might not be familiar with. All of them are you're familiar with. So one is called as floor division. The second one is called as remainder division. One will give you the rounded off value to the lower integer. The other one will give you the remainder of the division. So this is quotient of the division. This is remainder of the division. If you divide 103 by 5, 20 will be the quotient, 3 will be the remainder. So that's the reason this floor division is also called as quotient division. Right? These are your arithmetic operators. Right? Similarly, we have comparison operators. Comparison operators basically will be greater than symbol, right? Or symbol, or it could be greater than or equal to symbol, less than or equal to symbol. If you want to check for equality, you will use double equal to. That means if two values are equal or not, if you want to check, this is our comparison, whether A is greater than B or not, A is less than B or not. If you want to find out whether they are less or greater, you can use all this symbol. Not equal to symbol is also there. So the same data, if you take A and B, A is 103, B is 5. So if I say print A greater than B, all these comparison operators will always give you the Boolean output, either true or false, because if A value is greater than B value, then it will say true. Here we have 103 as A, B as 5. So A is greater than B, so it will give you the output as true. So always the comparison operators are going to give you the output as either true or false. The same thing you can use it for less than also. When I use less than, what will be the output? Print A less than B. That means it is going to check whether A is less than B or not. If it is less than B, it says true. If it is not less than B, it will say false. So 103 is not less than 5, right? So what is there in A? 103. What is there in B? 5 is there. So 103 is not less than 5. So it will say false as the output. A greater than B true, A less than B false. A greater than or equal to will be true only, because greater than or equal. If it is greater or equal, it will be true. Less than or equal to. That means if a value is less than or equal to, in both the cases, it will be true. Equal to means exactly equal. 10 is equal to 10, then only it will give you true. Otherwise, not equal, it says true. So it is negation of the equal to symbol. So these are called as comparison operators. Clear? All right, so I will stop it here today. Again, we will meet on Monday and we will learn some more basics like what are loops, what are functions, what are anonymous functions in Python. We will learn about few more things in Monday's class, and then on Tuesday, Wednesday, we will implement simple neural networks using Python. Clear? All right then. Thank you so much. If
Yes,
you have
thank
any questions, you can post it in the chat window. We still have 3 more minutes. Otherwise, you can leave. So we don't have any questions in the chat window, no? Why Monday? Yeah, our classes are on weekday only. That is tomorrow and day after, Saturday, Sunday, will not have classes. Everything is clear. Thank you, Lakshmi Pushpa. Harini, thank you. Yeah. I think you all got the schedule, no? All right then. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chandana.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, guys, as ma'am told, we don't have class tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So, we'll meet on Monday. Okay. Thank you.